Sorry for being late. রৌনক চক্রবর্তী, Indrani, Konkona, very late today, and returning late from Calcutta. Today I went to Calcutta, naturally tired, to garland the statue of Rashbehari Bose and some other works. Today is the date of death of Mahanayak Rashbehari Bose. Today in the morning, I just wrote one letter, one sentence on Mahanayak. Mahanayak in our history is an iceberg in the Indian and Pacific Ocean. Major part of his life unknown to us. We have not tried to discover that. We have forgotten one of the most neglected heroes in India. And I will tell you, this Rashbehari Bose is a bridge between our liberation movements in First Great War, during First Great War, and liberation movement during Second Great War. And even he was one of the central character for freedom movement before the First Great War. Following some basic inspirations, basic spirit of the Sepoy Mutiny. Today I will tell something on you, the basic spirit, basic principle, techniques in the Sepoy Mutiny era time in 1857 to 62. It's followed during First Great War by Rashbehari Bose and Bhagajyoti. And the same basic technique is followed by Subhash Chandra. What is the commonality? The commonality is to inspire the Sepoys, the soldiers, the Indians, soldiers serving in the British India, to inspire them to be patriotic, and to inspire them to change the direction of their gun 180 degrees. That was the call during Sepoy Mutiny. It is the Indians in the British Indian Army, they changed the direction of the rifle towards the British, 180 degrees. Their gun was directly towards the Indians to kill them, to threat them. The same thing, First Great War, Rashbehari and Bhagajyoti, they tried revolts in military camps, British military camps, from Singapore, Malaysia, Burma, Dhaka, Ajodhya, Meerut, Karachi, up to Eden. That time it was the British India. They tried to inspire revolt on patriotic feelings, inspiring patriotic feelings. That failed. But that was the basic technique. And the same technique is followed subsequently by Rashbehari and Netaji Subhash Chandra in INA during Second Great War. Anyway, today I will discuss mainly on Rashbehari. Now, today there is so much discussions in media because the government of India has decided to place a statue in India Gate. That decision has exposed further many characters whom I call Siku Maku Congos. The perverted seculars, perverted communists, and perverted secularists. They're exposed, they're barking today. A day will come. Already few years back, when there was Supreme Court verdict on Ram Janmabhoomi, there was many barkings. And few months before the Supreme Court verdict on Ram Janmabhoomi, my book Netaji to Bhagavanji was published, where I wrote clearly there is inspiration of Mahakal, of Bhagavanji, behind the Ram Janmabhoomi movement that irritated many, that doesn't bother me. And for many decades, I am telling, last 40 years, a day is coming when in India, Netaji will be worshipped as George Washington of USA, as De Valera of Ireland, as Lenin of USSR, of the USSR Dej, Mao of China, of the Communist Age. And in future, when further pages of history will come out on the mysterious Netaji chapters, will be worshipped as an avatar. The rebuilding of India has started. Just wait for that. And the day when this marriage story will be crushed officially, many persons who are barking on the streets will hide their face, will not be able to come open in the streets. The basic thing I have explained why we regard Netaji and INA as the basic force, fundamental force, most important force to compel British to leave this country. In 1938, All India Congress, as Congress President Subhash Chandra told, India freed, humanity saved. What does it mean? Because the British Empire was ruling half of the globe. And the main power of the British Empire was the British Indian Army, where main physical force, main soldiers was the Indians. Actually, this is the Indians who own this India for the British Empire. It is Indians who are maintaining the British Empire here in South Asia. It is Indians who conquered Southeast Asia for the British Empire. This is Indians who conquered parts of Africa for British. It is Indians who fought for the British both during First Great War and during Second War for the victory. And after the INA trial, the whole when the news of the INA and its activities came into outside, came to the cantonments, the Indians in the cantonments starting from Singapore to Malaysia to Burma, different cantonments in India up to Eden, they got inspiration, inspired. Their patriotic feelings appeared in them. Love for the country. They felt that for decades they have served not their own people, but a foreign power that inspired, that directed their guns 180 degrees. There was revolts, strikes in Navy, in main army, in the Air Force. And that situation compelled the British to think that when the whole British Indian Army has become non-loyal, it is not be safe to stay in this country, because at any time there will be a situation more violent than 1857 Sepoy Mutiny. And they have told many areas that the situation is more violent, much more violent than the time of the Sepoy Mutiny. And at that time, they thought if they had to continue their empire here in South Asia, in India, they have to bring fresh 2 lakh British white soldiers. And that time, in England, there was no family which has lost their father or their child. They were very unable to supply this amount of soldiers. And that compelled them to compromise with the power-hungry politicians. And that time, Subhash Chandra was yet to prepare another army to have a good fight with the British. In that period, before Subhash Bose appears, the power-hungry politicians in India and British arranged partition. First, arranged riot in 1946. Then arranged partition. Then they left country. That is the history. Anyway, today's subject is Rashbehari. Netaji fought the war in the Eastern Front, Kohima Imphal Front, with the INA. But is the INA built by Subhash Bose? No. That is a background history. INA is built by Rashbehari. Who is this Rashbehari? Again, before Rashbehari, there is another history, another chapter. Rashbehari is the bridge between 2 chapters of our Indian freedom movement. First Great War and Second Great War periods. And before that, I will show you how the inspirations and legacy of the Sepoy Mutiny continued up to the revolutionary efforts during First Great War to liberate this country. First, Rashbehari. Rashbehari was paternal house in Betwwn, born in Hooghly in maternal house, lost his mother in a very early age, father in service much away, brought up under the lap of nature on the side of the Ganga, is seen as a junior officer or clerk in northern part of UP, that is Dehradun, Department of Forest. It's very popular, very favorite to the British officers, very obedient officers, very efficient officers, but more popular because he is that language teachers, Indian language teachers of many British officers. But behind the curtain, who is the man? He's arranging, networking, revolutionary activities, sitting there with the revolutionaries of the West India, Punjab, West Punjab, East Punjab, North UP, up to Benares. It's networking. And a separate place in Haridwar. As if from Dehradun, he's frequenting to Haridwar as a religious person, pilgrimage. But in a sacred place, in a mango garden, in a sacred place, he is discussing discussing with the revolution who was coming and taking shelter temporarily. And you see, that is the time of Ognijug here in Bengal. In Bengal, Ognijug started in the background of partition of Bengal. And that background, in that background, he had the inspiration of Swami Vivekananda, Nivedita, and Aurobindo from the West India, and others. In that situation, the revolutionaries took the gun on one hand, bomb in one hand, and Gita on the other hand, and Bande Mataram on the lips. That is the dish. And one event, Khudiram, a bomb from the hand of Khudiram and Prafullo Chaki. The small event nowadays in Bengal, in villages, towns, every day there is bombings by the terrorists, by the dacoits. But in their stage, very few people in the country knew how to make bombs. A boy I have told few days back, Hem Kanungo, a boy who lost his father in early age, who sold his paternal property, going to France to learn the technique of bomb making and coming back to India. And also in bomb makings, there is a role of contact of Nivedita with Professor P. Shirai in Presidency College Chemical Laboratory. The components, some of the components came from the chemical laboratory. I told it anyway. And Khudiram in 1908, along with Prafullo Chaki, threw a bombs into Kingsford. And that sound gave a shock to the Governor General, because at that time Calcutta was the capital of British India. And a series of violent activities by the revolutionaries. And that compelled British to think to shift capital of British India from Calcutta to Delhi. They thought Delhi will be separatist. Lord Hardinge decided, along with his advice from the London, to shift capital from Calcutta to Delhi, thinking Delhi will be the safe place. And the event of shift was December 1912. There is a massive procession, gorgeous. On the elephant, Lord Hardinge with his wife and other officers on the elephant was entering into the Delhi. And on the body, physically, bomb is thrown by one in the uniform of a lady on the body of Lord Hardinge. In history, physical attack on Governor General has not happened. In the mainland, only once one Governor General was killed by a Afghan refugee in Andaman in years back. And then throughout the country, there was searching for who has arranged this bombing on the Governor General. Searching after some different parts, North India, West India, Bengal. And during that search, they could find from Maniktola hideouts where the bombs were being prepared, some letters signed by some Rashbehari. They found, arrested many was sentenced to jail, Andaman, many were hanged. But they could not imagine that this very Rashbehari is that Rashbehari in North India. They could not imagine that. And that time, the moment this happened, Rashbehari has to leave his place in Dehradun. He was compelled to go to hideouts, hiding. And he was moving from one place to another. And that time, there is Gadar parties in Canada and USA, 6 in thousands there. They are coming back to India. And arms were being collected from different parts of the world, in Canada, USA, Germany, all these areas. And networking in all different parts of the country, and the revolutionaries going through their friends to different cantonments, from Karachi to Dhaka, from Meerut to Burma to Singapore, Malaysia, Eden, to cooperate and coordinate a Sepoy mutiny like situation, a revolt from within the cantonments. And Rashbehari has to flee from one side to another in different dresses, different camouflages. And one thing, I will forget, in the British Indian history of 170 years, almost all revolutionaries has been caught, sentenced to jail or hanged, or some revolutionaries have been purchased, changed. Only 2 exceptions in British Indian history. Only 2 exceptions. One is Rashbehari Bose. We just could never catch him. Other is Subhash Bose. But in case of Subhash Bose's history, of his political career in India, from 1921 to 41, of these 20 years, he was 12 years in jail or in exile, many times arrested. But finally, he could escape to give them a big chance. In case of Rashbehari, this was a big insult for British. And also for Subhash Chandra, from Subhash Chandra, it was a big thrust to the British. But in all other cases, all revolutionists has been arrested, imprisoned, sentenced to death, or Deepantar. only two exceptions. And when the traitors leaked all this news of this networking of a mutiny from within the cantonments, the cantonments ranging from Singapore, Malaysia up to Eden, all over. British white officers preempted that effort and disarmed all soldiers in different cantonments, and attempt of a revolution from within the cantonments frustrated. And Rashbehari was fleeing from one point to the other. And ultimately, his friends decided that it is not possible for him for months to reside in hideouts. Ultimately, it was planned that he will leave this country. And he left this country through ship from Calcutta port to Southeast Asia, Japan, in the name of P.N. Tagore. P.N. Tagore is the P.N. Tagore is the official secretary of Rabindranath Tagore. At that time, Rabindranath was preparing to go to Japan. He used that opportunity. He used all clearances. He managed all clearances in the uniform of a P.N. Tagore, and he escaped the mainland of India. And I tell the life history of Rashbehari and Subhash Chandra is dangerously romantic and adventurous. Dangerously adventurous. All other revolutions have been. And on the way to Japan, many times there are many searches. And even when he reached Japan, after a few months, the British came to know that Rashbehari is in Japan. At that time, there was a good relation between Japan government and England. The Japan government, British government gave pressures to extradite Rashbehari. But at that time, the leader of the Black Dragon Party helped Rashbehari to go to hideout. And after a few years, he was naturalized. He was given the citizenship of Japan. Also, his marriage to a Japanese lady was an important factor. And he learned many languages, many books in Japanese languages. Ramayana, Mahabharata, Gita, all these are translated to Japanese language. He published few journals, and within few years, he established IIL, Indian Independence League, using the Indian diaspora. About 20 lakh people residing in Southeast Asia. And that diaspora is subsequently used by Subhash Chandra to raise an army, collection money from them, and to wage a war against the British. The use of this diaspora by Rashbehari, then by Subhash Chandra. And after 70 years of partition of India, today I must admit, today's Prime Minister is using that diaspora throughout the world to improve economics and all other angles of this Bharatvarsh. You have to use the diaspora. And at that time, I tell you, in 1922, Kobi Guru had a very, very courageous step, very courageous step. When he was in Tokyo, he gave an official visit to Rashbehari. It was not very easy. Not very easy to officially give a visit to Rashbehari because Ravi Thakur, Kavi Guruji in India, in British India. And you know, Kavi Guru was not in good book of the British rulers. They suspected him. Yet there are many regions where I have placed today in the Facebook his group photo of Kavi Guru along with the son and daughter of Rashbehari, along with his father-in-law and mother-in-law. That group photo I have given today in a Facebook. And also Kavi Guru at one time when he heard that earthquake has destroyed the residence of Rashbehari in Tokyo. Here he himself arranged some dramas, theaters, and collected money and sent that money in those days to Japan. And you see, and also the concept of the Asian liberation, not only concept of India, liberation of India, IIL, concept of Asian liberation, its history. Before that, before Rashbehari, you will see it is the concept of Deshbandhu, Asian liberation concept. Before that, Mahendra Pratap. Oh, I have told you, I have forgotten. This was a huge network. During first Great War, there was Raja Mahendra Pratap in Kabul, Barkatullah. They formed a government there. Here Rashbehari in North India, Baghajuddin in Bengal, a networking of revolution, all connected together. And there is a good relation between Savarkar. The concept of using soldiers of British India, the soldiers were Indians, to inspire them in the line of patriotic feelings, was the dream of Savarkar. And he took this dream from the history of the Sepoy Mutiny. It is Savarkar, in his London days, sitting in the archives, seeing the documents of the Sepoy Mutiny, archival materials. He wrote the first Indian liberation movement, Sepoy Mutiny. That is one of the best volumes. I think is first best volume on that. And this volume was subsequently translated to many languages in INA for readings of the INA soldiers. And reading such a book in English language, Bhagat Singh described Savarkar as Beat Savarkar. I've told you, these are the huge network, and one tells many things. Let me quote again page of history. Here Savarkar is a leader of the Hindu Mahasabha. In Japan, Rashbehari was the leader of the Hindu Mahasabha. And there are many communication secrets. One source is telling there is also advice of Savarkar for Subhash Chandra to go out of India, to use the Indian diaspora outside India to form army to attack the British. Also, in those like the communications between Savarkar and Rashbehari. Savarkar was released many decades in Andaman, about 14 years in Andaman. Then in home intern in Maharashtra. 37 he was released. And after that there is many communications of Rashbehari 37, 38, 39, 41. Many communications between Rashbehari and Savarkar. This is a network. And the concept of using the soldiers, Indian soldiers in the British India, which arose in the minds of the Baghajoti and his team here in Eastern India, Rashbehari there in North and West India, is from the knowledge of history of the Sepoy Mutiny. There is that link. Sepoy Mutiny and the attempts of revolution using the Indian soldiers in the British Indian Army during Second Great War, and subsequently INA in the hands of Rashbehari, then Netaji, is a continuity. I have not gone into details today. I have given you some idea. I hope you will read the volumes on Rashbehari. There are few volumes. Majority of the volumes has dealt with the revolutionary activities in Bengali. There is always the mention of Rashbehari. In the Bengali book, few on Rashbehari. In Jayashree, there is a book, Biplop Neta Rashbehari Bosu by Mahanayak. In English, there is a good book, Two Great Indians in Japan, Rashbehari Bose and Netaji Subhash Chandra, by a Japanese, translated into English, published here in India. It is a good book, Two Great Revolutionaries, that is Rashbehari Bose and Jyotiranath Mukherjee, by Uma Mukherjee, and there is a big volume, about 700 pages, the commemorative volume, Rashbehari Bosu, his struggle for India's independence. The huge volume. There are many other volumes are there. Rashbehari Bose, and in archives I have seen some volumes, but I could not go into the archives, the materials of Raja Mahendra Pratap, also Rashbehari. Scholars must sacrifice, scholar must give time to go into the details and write volumes. And 41, 1945, 21st January. Before that, for few weeks, Rashbehari was very in a sick bed, dying. High dignitaries was coming to meet him, and highest civilian award of the Japan was awarded to him. And that time, the informations of Japanese retreat, fall of Japanese army in the whole Pacific region is coming. Also, the retreat of the INA from both Imphal, Kohima, and Arakan front. It's reached him, and for weeks he was in tears. And that time, Netaji is in the war front. No question of going to Tokyo to meet Rashbehari. In history, very few occasions are there. Shows unconditionally, so smoothly, so spontaneously, a leadership is handed over from the hand of one person who has built the INA. and handed over to a person from Rashbehari to Subhash Chandra, Netaji Subhash Chandra. The unique history of handover of leadership. And when Subhash Chandra got, the tragedy of a history is that every time there is treachery, there is no loyalty. Everyone wants to be leaders. A man who is there, Rashbehari, sacrificing such a life in India, then in Japan, taking so much risk, was not trusted by some of the army officers of the first INA in Southeast Asia. And there was a breakdown. And the army number of soldiers in the first INA under Rashbehari number came down. Many officers deserted. And Subhash Bose has to rush from Germany to Southeast Asia to reorganize the INA. Within 6 months, he organized the INA. And INA soldiers in the first INA under Rashbehari, it was many thousands, around 30. It came down to only 5,000. And Subhash Chandra came, again reorganizations, using his spirit and its call, clarion call, and the whole Indian diaspora came together. The Indian army strength came up to 60,000. According to some other statistics, in transfer of power, I saw it is 80,000. Organized army. But one thing I tell you, this army, another very unique thing of this INA, this army was defeated in the war front. Then segment surrendered, British and Americans. But Subhash Chandra they could not catch Subhash Chandra, Netaji. And a defeated army inspired the massive British Indian army inside soil. And that's disintegrated a victorious army. That is a unique thing. As if a self-immolation of the INA has blasted, disintegrated the British Indian army. That is a unique part of history. Let me stop here today. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Possibly. Somosathi, Tapos, my deepest respect to Professor Kopil Kumar. Yes. JLN after 1947 want to disband army after independence. Yes. All INA soldiers were recruited in Pakistan, army with honor, but not in India. Yes. In 1980 দশকের স্কুল ছাত্র হিসেবে বলেছি যে আমাদের মাধ্যমিক ইতিহাস বইতে 10 থেকে 12 লাইন লেখা ছিল ব্রিটিশ ভারতের নৌবিদ্রোহের সম্পর্কে। নৌবিদ্রোহের গুরুত্ব ভারতের স্বাধীনতার ক্ষেত্রে কতটা সেটা আমাকে বুঝতেই দেওয়া হয়। Yes. Bhavani Prasad Chakraborty watching. Okay. Sir, I am listening your discussion regarding Mahanayak Rashbehari Bose. Shoykot Satyaranjan Bakshi. Shoykot Netaji started interacting with NRI students in Cambridge during ICS days. Maybe future plans of freedom struggle. Netaji started interacting with NRI students, yes. your discussion about Kavi Guru Rabindranath Tagore and Rashbehari Bose after an excellent discussion. I am enjoying. Three Bengalis got highest level of respect from Jat nation. Yes, Rabindranath Chandra Bose and Justice Rabindranath Pal. Yes, Justice Rabindranath Pal. There are tragedies in India. There is no museums on Justice Rabindranath Pal. But in Japan, there are at least two areas I have seen. There is museums on Justice Rabindranath Pal. Yes. This let me tell you on Rabindranath Pal. This Rabindranath Pal did not accept the story of the plane crash and did not accept the marriage story. One day, he told Shishir Bose, "Get out from my chamber. Get out from my chamber." Scoundrel Shishir Bose. He was trying to sell the story of marriage. So, the character of the Sabyasachi, sketched by Kothashilpi Sharatchandra Chattopadhyay in his famous novel Pother Dabi, was based on Mahanayak or Netaji. Oh, the Prakash. Oh, that was the very popular. Remember, no question of being, no scope of being Netaji, because this novel was written much before Netaji. Okay, and Mahanayak Rashbehari. Yes, that was the popular narrative. But in one of the discussions of Sharat Chandra with his friend, which is in published, I've read that. Actually, that man is Srispal, who was operating in the area of Bengal and Burma in disguise. It's a very, very dangerously adventurous person. And that Srispal, let me mention one of his achievements is Rada Ostraga Lunchon, in open broad daylight in Calcutta. Open broad daylight. The rifles were stolen. Dozens of rifles were stolen from the Rada company store. Savarkar, Hindu Mahasabhar Bari Kichu Bolun. Yes, Rahul. This is in volumes. One may not tolerate this. That's their business. But it's fact. Savarkar in India was the leader of the Hindu Mahasabha. And Rashbehari was in Japan. Hinduism is not a religion. Hinduism is civilization, culture. It is not a religion. How can Japan, where the majority is almost Buddhist and Shintos are 50-50, how they be away from Hinduism? That scoundrel again arrived in NRB today. Shoykot, who is this scoundrel again arrived at NRB today? There are many scoundrels, Shoykot, don't worry. Many scoundrels in coming days will have to hide their face. And today, when the statue of Subhash Netaji is being placed in that site, many scoundrels, rascals, are barking, irritated. We will rewrite history. We will place the truth in front of the people. Truth is truth. That must have their own place. We will rewrite the history. We will correct our narratives. Don't worry. don't weep, dedicate, remain confident. So grateful. Could you please discuss on Sispal one day? Yes, on contribution one day. I have told you. The Rada, Ostragat, Lungthon. The British company in Calcutta, Rada, was in business of this rifles. In open broad daylight, he and his team stole dozens of rifles. And that rifle was used by the revolutionaries from East and West Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand, all these areas. It's famous Sishpa. Okay. Thank you. Good night. Bolo.